Okay, from Asia to Australasia, more specifically Sydney Harbour.
We're at my mate's place, my only fancy mate, and we're on the north shore of Sydney, right near the Harbour Bridge.
Lower North Shore, thank you.
Lower North Shore, I've been told. And he's taking us out on the harbour on his boot. So we're going on a boot on the harbour. It's very fancy. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
We're on our way to Rushcutters Bay, the land of the millionaire sailor. So the Royal Cruising Yacht Club's there, Rance is there, and there's a private yacht club there, and a whole lot of really cool stores where you can buy stuff at great prices. If you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you. I used to have a sailing boat down here moored, Boomerang 20. It was very cheap mooring back there, but now it's very expensive because you're almost right in the middle of the city. You can see the Sydney Harbour Bridge. You're right on Middle Harbour. It's lovely, very tranquil. And I also used to be in a syndicate with Erica J, which was an old 8 metre. I think it's still around, but it's been done up now. My mate's taking us out in his boat, which he moors permanently down there. And it's just another lovely day in Sydney. This is Middle Harbour. I spent quite a lot of time here when I was in the Navy working. And I spent a lot of time swinging off number 4 buoy, wishing to get ashore to the Cross, which is just across from here. And sometimes sailors would jump in and swim for it.
I'll bet you did.
Yeah, I liked the Cross back in the day. There's something special about being on Sydney Harbour, especially in Middle Harbour, where you can see the Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And also you can see the Governor General's house and also Kirribilli House. It's really the land of the rich, but it's open to everybody and everybody can go out there. And if you don't have your own private boat, you can always catch a ferry from Circular Quay, which you'll go all through Middle Harbour for a very economical price. And you can also go out to Manly, and you can also go all the way up to Parramatta on a river cruise, just by a few dollars and getting an Opal card. Yeah, it's just like what the locals do. They use the ferries to get to and from work every day. And so, especially if you're going off peak times, you can almost have the ferries to yourself. There's the Kraken. She's looking lovely today. Very happy. Sydney Harbour's got a whole lot of islands in the middle of it that you can also explore, like Cockatoo Island. And you could really have a whole holiday just exploring Sydney Harbour via the ferries. This is Gore Bay. There used to be old fuel stations there and things like that. BP used to have a terminal there, and there's still the import terminals there from the old Shell oil refinery at Clyde. Please subscribe. One of the good things about Sydney Harbour is there's quite a few places where you can just tie up your boat and wander ashore, and quite a lot of the foreshore is not privately owned, so you can just wander around, and a lot of it's got bush on it, like this small bit that we're getting off now. So it's like you can have a bushwalk right in the middle of the city. Oh, it's free to moor the boat like this. But obviously you can't be there all day, it's just limited. But you can leave little dinghies there all the time, and lots of people do. You see this in Brisbane as well, where along the foreshore people just lock up their dinghies and their kayaks. The harbour water is very clear, but there's some old pollution in there, means you can't really eat fish.
We've just stopped off from our personalised harbour cruise at Balmain, and we're just walking up to the coffee shops because the Kraken needs a coffee. And walking through Balmain, it's just beautiful. So it's a lovely day, lovely winter's day in Australia. So it's about 25 degrees, beautiful, no cloud in the sky, just gorgeous. Sydney day, winter Sydney day. Bit different than Europe.
We see some lovely Banksia plants and beautiful, beautiful trees in the landscape.
Australians take this all for granted. It's just in their backyard. But, it's clean, it's safe, and it's usually gorgeous.
And here's some examples of the architecture.
You know, these are views to die for, and unfortunately some trees have to die for selfish people to have views. There's also community gardens, and this is where you can take stuff if you like as well. On the harbour you see some interesting boats. There's people up in the rigging here on the square yards about to let loose the sails. And there's an example of one of the ferries. And that's Circular Quay, which is the cruise ship terminal and also the ferry terminal, main ferry terminal. This is always stressful, but my friend Simon did it masterfully, coming in on the mooring. You always worry you're going to smash up the boat with the boat next to you, which would be even worse. This brings back lots of memories.
And this shows you, what is this, 1950s architecture?
Now this is 1920s architecture on the harbour.
1920s, there you go, with a little boat shed connected to the building.
One other interesting way to see the harbour is on Wednesdays. If you go down, they have Wednesday afternoon twilight racing, and you can normally just put your name up as crew and somebody will take you as ballast. So you can go sailing on the harbour as ballast at Ransa in Rushcutters Bay.
When I was young, I was in the Navy, and I used to come down here and sometimes do duties down here. But this used to be run by the Navy. It was the Royal Australian Navy Sailing Association, and this was there's Navy stuff in here, and this was the Naval Reserve Cadets over here. And but now it's still there. The Ransa's there, but they don't have dinghies anymore. They just a keel boat club, and it's not run by the Navy anymore. But you know, it's not exclusively Navy, but Navy become members. And the bar has now turned into a cafe as well as a bar. It used to just be a bar there, but now it's a cafe and a bar. It's a bit sad that they don't do the dinghy racing anymore. It used to be a lot of fun.
Thanks for joining us, and thanks to Simon for the lovely adventure. Next time, we'll show you the Chinese Friendship Garden in Sydney.